Flacco steps away from pressure, throwing on the run, and he throws this one away.
It's hard. I mean, listen, when you lose football games, that's what happens. You're going to have plays where you look back on and think about. And, you know, those guys, they played a really strong game for us today. Like I said, I think when you look at this film, you're going to see a lot of guys that did a lot of really good things. We just had some MAs that really, really did us.
Flacco, juggled, intercepted!
This loss is going to leave a mark for a while. Kevin Stefanski couldn't hide his disappointment after the Browns' tough defeat to the Bengals. His body language spoke volumes: frustration, disbelief, and a sense of being let down. But it wasn't just the loss that got to him. It was Joe Flacco's performance. Flacco, too, was feeling the weight of the game, with his confidence hitting an all-time low. Stefanski even admitted he felt bad for Flacco, especially after those interceptions that seemed to come one after another. But before we break down all the painful details of this game, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world and helps us keep bringing you the latest updates and analysis.
Has 3 sacks in a row put together, and then squandered the field goal. And
yeah, it's tough, but it's football. Things are going to get kicked in the teeth every once in a while.
Kevin Stefanski opened up after the game, acknowledging that there were some positive moments from Joe Flacco. He noted that Flacco had flashes of excellence and made some solid plays in certain situations. However, as the game progressed, things started to unravel. Flacco began to falter, taking multiple sacks, and the pressure just kept building. Stefanski recognized that adversity is part of football, and players sometimes face tough moments. Unfortunately for Flacco, this game became one of those times where the pressure caught up with him, reflected in the final outcome. Stefanski's assessment was spot on. Flacco's rust was clear from the start. It wasn't just the interceptions that marked his struggles. His overall game was off. His throws were rushed, erratic, and lacked the usual precision expected from a veteran quarterback. A pivotal moment came in the first quarter when the Browns had a critical chance. Flacco had an open Jerry Jeudy but overthrew the ball, sending it too high and wide. Jeudy couldn't reel it in, and the missed opportunity added more pressure to an already tense situation.
5-man pressure, Flacco on a slant off.
While Stefanski tried to remain diplomatic in his comments, it was clear he wasn't entirely comfortable with Flacco's performance. The mistakes didn't end with that first overthrow. Flacco's struggles only intensified with each passing play. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, he fumbled again. This time, he tried to make a play by escaping the Bengals' defense, but instead of staying calm, Flacco lost his footing. In the chaos, not only did he fumble the ball, but he also threw it out of bounds, squandering a critical opportunity and adding even more pressure to the already tense situation on the field.
Flacco steps away from pressure, throwing on the run, and he throws this one away.
Then came the pivotal moment that completely shifted the momentum. A disastrous throw by Flacco. With the Browns still within reach, Flacco attempted a quick pass to his receiver. However, he once again made the wrong call. Rather than choosing a player with more space, he forced the ball to a running back who was surrounded by Bengals defenders. The throw was hurried, and the receiver couldn't adjust in time. Ultimately, the pass landed right in the hands of a Cincinnati defender. Interception. Just like that, the game's course took a dramatic turn.
Somehow get away, the pass deflected and intercepted!
Flacco's press conference following the game revealed just how much the loss impacted him. His body language said it all. He was clearly devastated by his own performance. Flacco admitted that he missed critical opportunities, acknowledging that his throws lacked accuracy, particularly in terms of placement and trajectory. He openly shared that this game would stay with him for a long time, and it was evident he felt responsible for letting his team down. The weight of his mistakes was clearly weighing on him, and you could sense he was already processing just how much this loss hurt.
It's hard. I mean, listen, when you lose football games, that's what happens. You're going to have plays where you look back on and think about. And, you know, those guys, they played a really strong game for us today. Like I said, I think when you look at this film, you're going to see a lot of guys that did a lot of really good things. We just had some MAs that really, really did us.
Joe Flacco continued to emphasize how hard it was for him to come to terms with his performance on the field. He recognized that while many of his teammates were playing well, he just couldn't find his rhythm. Flacco made it clear that, despite the loss, the team's overall effort wasn't terrible, but he took full accountability for his mistakes. He acknowledged that while the game wasn't a total disaster for the Browns, this loss would linger for a while, especially because he felt he had let down the teammates who were putting in the hard work.
Football, I'm wishing that, I had the ball a little bit better, and, I'm wishing I just threw it on his chest as opposed to, doing what I did. And I think we're all looking at those plays and probably thinking about them and just like, we're going to go home tonight and try to fall asleep with those things on our, on our thoughts. And it's hard. Listen, when you lose football games, that's what happens.
Flacco was right to feel the weight of the situation, as it was evident on the field that he was becoming overwhelmed. The mistakes kept piling up, and it was clear he was rattled. Instead of showing the composed, deliberate play we expect from a quarterback, Flacco was rushing everything: his throws, his decisions, and even his movements. The flow of the game was completely lost, and with every error, the team's confidence seemed to slip further away. As if things weren't already bleak enough, Flacco, under immense pressure, threw yet another off-target pass. This time it wasn't entirely his fault. The receiver failed to secure the ball, letting it slip right through his hands. In another disastrous turn, the play ended as yet another turnover, this time an interception, making an already tough situation even worse for the Browns.
Flacco, juggled, intercepted! DJ Turner!
That turnover? It was the final nail in the coffin. The Bengals, recognizing the opportunity, capitalized on it without hesitation. There was no chance they were going to let the Browns back into the game after that mistake. With that interception, the game was effectively decided, and Cincinnati wasn't about to give Cleveland any opening for a comeback. In the post-game press conference, Kevin Stefanski spoke to the media, and his frustration was evident. The loss clearly weighed heavily on him. He openly discussed how things could have turned out differently if the team had paid attention to the smaller details. He specifically pointed to the tipped balls that resulted in key turnovers, acknowledging that those were mistakes that could have been avoided. Stefanski believed that with better discipline in those moments, the game could have been much closer, or even had a completely different outcome.
Very, very disappointing to come away with a loss in that game. Can't be -2 versus a good football team, and that's really the story of the football game. Tip balls, and we got to play cleaner. Now,
In the end, the Browns' loss to the Bengals was a tough one, and it left a lasting impression on both the players and coaching staff. Joe Flacco, despite his earlier flashes of potential, couldn't overcome the mounting pressure and his own mistakes. His struggles in terms of accuracy and decision-making were evident throughout the game, culminating in costly turnovers that shifted the momentum entirely in Cincinnati's favor. Flacco's post-game comments showed just how deeply the loss affected him, as he took full responsibility for his performance, acknowledging that he let down his teammates. Kevin Stefanski, too, felt the weight of the defeat, recognizing that while the team's effort wasn't all bad, crucial mistakes, especially the tipped balls and turnovers, had sealed their fate. His frustration was clear, and his belief that attention to detail could have turned the game around highlighted the fine line between success and failure in football. Ultimately, the Browns' loss was a combination of bad timing, missed opportunities, and unforced errors. While the team will undoubtedly look back on this game with regret, it also serves as a learning experience. For Flacco and the rest of the team, the focus will now be on bouncing back, correcting the mistakes, and using this painful loss as motivation moving forward. What do you think about the Browns' tough loss to the Bengals? Do you believe Flacco's performance was the main factor in the outcome, or were there other elements at play? How do you feel about Stefanski's comments regarding the team's missed opportunities and mistakes? Could the Browns have turned things around with a bit more focus and discipline, or was the game already out of reach by the time those key turnovers happened? We'd love to hear your thoughts on how the team can bounce back from this and what improvements they need to make moving forward. Let us know in the comments.